blah 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 blah. Go.
Hello, and welcome to a very, very ill I Tell You What TV. I'm James, and hopefully tonight I've got Dave, who's thoroughly ready and prepared, and Steve, who's fallen down some stairs. So I think we'll start with Steve. How's your head, mate? He must have been knocked out a fair bit. Anyway, just so that you know, this is an F1 podcast.
It was an impression of you. It was an impression of you.
I know. I just haven't been with it. I went all right last week when we did do a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a quick question, completely off topic. Were Rachel Stevens, was she in Steps or was she in some other group?
S Club 7.
S Club 7. Oh, that were it.
Okay, well, we are an F1 podcast, and as James, to be honest, I only got you to do the intro so we could stitch you up with the snoring sounds. So yeah, welcome to I'll Tell You What TV, where, as James said, he's not feeling very well. I've got a theory about that as well, James. I'll get on to it in a moment. Steve has apparently fallen down the stairs today and just about knocked himself out. I'm here ready and raring to go. We're on early because James asked for an early start because he's not feeling too well, and maybe that's why Steve fell down the stairs rushing to get on. But other than feeling like shit, guys, how are you doing?
Shit.
I'm feeling really, really shit. But the only thing that's keeping me quite happy is I've just made a pizza.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
So I'm going to be gnawing on that for about 10 minutes. And then also it's F1 this weekend.
It is. We are going to be talking about, well, hopefully be talking about the Australian Grand Prix. The way this is going, though, it may just be me sitting here talking about it. But yeah, we are going to get onto that. We have got a few other topics to discuss. We'll make our predictions for this coming weekend's race. But also, James last night asked us to do a little bit of a side feature, which is basically pick 3 female celebrities from Prix 2007 that we think have either aged well or haven't aged well. So we'll do that at some point. And we did actually sit here last night and put together the next Hando episode. However, because James and Steve aren't feeling too well, there's a good chance we're going to leave that until next week. I mean, I did wonder, you know, guys, whether maybe the Hando episodes was something we should pre-record, but I actually think it's better done live because anything can happen, and that's part of what our podcast is about. Yes, definitely.
But yeah, Hondo might be sounding a bit down in the dumps today, but mind you, they should be all quite jolly because I mean mind you, it's only a short flight to Australia from Japan.
That is true. We also have got a special video to share with everybody, which we'll get on to shortly. But I suppose really we should talk about the Australian Grand Prix, and seeing as I'm the most compos mentis one of us, and you can tell I am because I was able to use that word. Exactly. I'm most with it, James. I've got a couple of things that I want to talk about to do with Formula 1 and the Grand Prix before we really get into the nitty-gritty of it. And the first thing I actually want to talk about is Steve sent me the link to the new F1 theme tune. And I'm curious, I'm guessing, Steve, you've listened to it. I'm curious, James, whether you've heard it.
Yeah, go on then. Actually, I thought you were going to play it for me.
No,
I hadn't heard it. No.
Right, I'm not going to play it live on the podcast because I don't know what the copyright laws would be with it. What I will say though is I have got the link to it here, and I have listened to it, so I will send it to you, James, or Steve could send it to you, and I will see if I can post a link to the F1 theme tune in the chat. Yes, I can. All I will say, I mean, what I've done here is I listened to it and I'm thinking, that don't sound Formula 1 to me. It sounds more like a movie. So what I've done, I've actually started reading the YouTube comments from the new theme tune. And what I'm seeing is, for example, I'm going to read a few out for you. As a music, I like it, but it's more Pirates of the Caribbean than Formula 1. And that's basically the gist of what people are saying. Sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean, or Formula 1 Avengers, or Formula 1 Captain Jack Sparrow. No one's really getting a Formula 1 vibe from it. Most people...
When you think of previous Formula 1 theme tunes, obviously you've got the classic dun 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 and all that, and then and also the last one, what was it, Rise or whatever it was. But the new one, it doesn't build up to anything.
No.
You know, there's no crescendo, and that's what the other tunes had.
I've listened to 30 seconds of it. I can tell you right now, it's a lot of wank.
And do you know what, right? It sounds like they've tried to put a bit of a sound of a Formula 1 car in there every now and again, but it's such a shit sound of a Formula 1 car. It's pathetic, it even being in there.
Yeah.
And
one person's commented.
I think I run my own racing league. I think my audio's 10 times better than that.
Well, one thing I've done, right, I mean, you probably haven't done this as much, James, but when you're doing YouTube videos, there is music on YouTube that you can use free of charge. And there's music that you can use as long as you attribute the creators and stuff like that. And over the last few years, one of these needs to wipe their arse. Over the last few years, I have spent hours and hours and hours, probably 100 hours, listening to the music on YouTube that's available for you, to see what I can use on which video and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds like a generic music tune from the YouTube music creator.
Do you know that one that we listened to a couple of years ago called Bam Bam?
Yes,
that
Bam
would
Bam.
be a better theme.
It would actually. Because
that is a good one.
I mean, someone's comment here on the music was not electric guitars, not speed of rock, not Formula 1. Another one, what the hell? Someone saying, as a drummer, this is interesting, this is pretty good. Someone else saying it's like Battlefield or Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean's getting advertised massively here, I tell you. It reminds me of Metal Gear Solid Saga, but I really like it. Dark Knight, Fast and Furious, The Avengers, Pirates of the Caribbean, NFL on CBS, ESPN, etc. So I think it's the type of music that perhaps... you hear a lot on American sports shows. I can't say I watch many of them, but to me, when I heard it, I just thought that. I mean, the music the last couple of years, it kind of sparks. It gets the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. I want to be the first to the line and stuff like that.
Got one here from Ramon Smiths. What utter shit is this? As if I'm waiting for the final episode of a stupid fucking game show, not something that gets me in the mood for F1 but action.
Yeah. Just above that, someone says Transformers of the Caribbean. The latest driver, Jack Sparrow. I mean, if this is the official theme tune, then it's not going to please a lot of people, and anyone that was offended by the Grid Girl scenario is going to be even more offended with this. I mean, there's even people suggesting and sending links on the comments, saying that this would be better. I mean, I feel nothing special. Something else I can hum every day would be better. Some people say it needs getting used to. It's sometimes I don't really read YouTube comments, but this was one where I thought
I mean, I've got used to the logo now. Already, I'm like used to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's the new F1 logo. But the text of Formula One underneath it just looks fucking weird.
I'm wondering with this theme tune whether it be like certain music. You know, like sometimes an artist will bring out a new song, and it won't really be that great, but then it grows on you the more you listen to it.
Maybe, but it just doesn't spark that. It just has. It's lacking a lot for me as an F1 theme tune. To be honest, it doesn't make me think, "Wow, yeah, come on," or get me emotional or anything like that. So yeah, it's very disappointing, is what I would say. Right, okay, I'm just trying to sort out the pictures that James has sent me, which is nothing to do with Formula 1, that's for a little bit later. So yeah, the theme tune's not great. I have put it in the comments section if anyone wants to have a listen to that. Feel free to give us your opinions on the theme tune. I think it's clear to say none of us like it. Okay, next on my... Well, there's a few things. I don't know whether to get into the technical... Okay, I will, I will. I'm going to get into this straight away. You know how Renault recruited that FIA guy? Ferrari have gone and done the same.
Yeah.
Hang on. Before we move on, how do you spell official?
Well, I did see that comment of someone saying official is spelt wrong on the F1 YouTube.
Yeah,
thing.
they put OFFICAL and it's OFFICIAL.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I tell you what, Steve, while I'm discussing this for a moment, you can have a quick look on F1 on Facebook, because if the theme tune has been released, I'm sure it'll be on there, so we can check it out as well. But it is a video that's going around. Maybe it's someone just trying to piss everybody off. Okay, so yeah, Ferrari, they were annoyed that Renault had signed up an FIA guy to be a part of their team. So what do? They go and recruit their own guy. It's the FIA Deputy Race Director, so not a small role he had. It's to join Ferrari's technical team. Now he won't. His name's Laurent Mekies, I think. He joined the FIA in 2014. And yeah, he's going to be working for Ferrari, but I think he's going to have to take a bit of a gardening lead. But I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that, guys, and whether we're going to be seeing the new way of Formula 1 is to rob the FIA of all of their top guys.
I'm surprised nobody's done it sooner than this, though. But at the end of the day, I don't think the FIA guys are that good, really, because they don't actually design the cars or anything. They just set out the rules, don't they?
Yeah.
So who's to say that they're any good anyway?
I kind of agree. Yeah. It makes you wonder, though. It's like, if this guy... Just say his role again, Dave. What his role was.
Okay, he was responsible. Sorry, hang on. He joined F1's governing body as safety director in 2014 and took on the role of deputy race director, reporting to race director Charlie Whiting when Herbie Blash stepped away from F1 in 2016. He was responsible. I've not finished yet. Sorry. He was responsible for all safety and medical matters across the FIA's championships, as well as R&D and homologation on both the track and road and latterly sporting matters.
So how does that help Ferrari?
I am not
that's
sure.
That's what I don't get. He's not like someone that's technical to do with the car. It seems to be everything away from the car. So I'm wondering how that will help Ferrari.
Well, I mean, it is possible that this is just a media source trying to create a story. A little bit like, we talked about Carmen Jorda and her comments. It did turn out that she she wasn't just asked a generic question and then turned around and said, oh well, women aren't strong enough to drive in Formula 1. She was directly asked, is Formula 1 more physical on women than Formula E? That was the question she was asked, and the answer to that is yes. But if the person had asked, is Formula 1 more physical on men than Formula E, the answer would also be yes. Now, literally, she didn't answer it in the best of ways, but the way it was reported was, oh, Carmen Jordan said women aren't strong enough. It was, hang on a minute, what question did you ask? And turns out it was twisted a little bit. So this could be a media source twisting this.
Yeah, possibly. I just don't. Yeah, I really. The only thing that I think that these people are probably any good at is probably, like the wording of a rule. They probably can go, right, well, this is what they'll mean by this. So this is how we can exploit it to its maximum. That's probably the only thing that I can think that they're actually going to be any good at.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Rather than actually going, oh yeah, we need to design it like this. I don't think they're going to be doing that.
But having said that, I mean, his role is to do with like safety and stuff like that. I don't know if you know, but helmet designs are about to change for 2019. So, and that's to do with safety. You got the halo that's coming, and that's to do with safety. So maybe there are aspects of the car on a safety standpoint that Ferrari want to have an edge on or want to try and exploit. It'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I do know that helmets are due to change, so it could be something to do with that. But as you mentioned, James, fake news, and obviously we're going to take the piss out of fucking anything we can. But if you've got plenty of people spreading fake news, what do you believe?
Well, I always think a certain percentage of rumours is true, and it's that small percentage of rumours that, could this be that small percentage of a rumour where it's true, where he's gone there to exploit the rules?
Just believe what you see for yourself.
Just see what you see. Say what you see. Okay. So there's a couple of bit of technical bits I wanted to mention. I have got a few other things, but I'll mention them when, if and when we mention any particular teams. I think you've just been bitten.
No, Bella just jumped up and a claw went right in my nipple. Oh,
right in your nipple. Okay.
That to be top of crisps.
Yeah. Okay, so the F1 Grand Prix this weekend. I'm interested to know, guys, whether you're looking forward to it. Although, to be fair, last night James didn't even realise it was this weekend.
I forgot. I thought it was next weekend. I probably will be if it rains or if there's something a bit spicy. But normally, if it's dry, it's a pretty dull race, really. Unless you have somebody fast at the back coming through the field.
I hope that I'm looking forward to it, but what I want to see is not necessarily who is the fastest and who's going to win the race. It's more from the middle of the pack to the back, have that group of cars improved and close the gap on the leaders to make more competitive racing. Because if Alpha come in, taking over at Sauber, is that car going to be the same pace as it was previously, or is it now going to be able to challenge someone like the Toro Rossos or even the Renaults, and try and and make it more of a battle rather than just seeing two cars tootling around at the back of the same team?
I'm pretty sure Ferrari will, now that they've got their badge on that, they'll definitely, even though it says in the rules you can't give information away, I'm pretty sure they will have done.
Well, I think for me, one of the key factors is that from what I've been hearing about testing in comparison to other years is there isn't necessarily a team that has had the desperation of as in previous years, like Honda last year, Red Bull the year before, where they turn up at the first test and the car just does not work. Yes, some teams have had a few issues, and yes, teams are going to be making the most of any story to do with McLaren being parked up at the side of the road. But most teams have done a hell of a lot of laps, and I think it's probably been, I mean, I don't know for certain, but I think it's probably been one of the most productive pre-season tests in the last few years, which could lead to a better race one of the season. And I think, I mean, I know you were in Australia a couple of years ago, James, but I mean, I believe that in Australia they've been getting very annoyed at the lack of a spectacle of the first race of the season for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last race that were actually dynamite at Australia, I think it was 2010, when Button won and it was just raining a bit. That were a right spectacle, that race. But then, ever since 2011 onwards, it's just been an absolute ball fest.
Yeah.
This year, though, you've got the McLaren that could be challenging, which is going to be interesting. So to find out where the McLaren's going to fit into things. Then you've got the Toro Rosso with the Honda engine, and how is that going to perform? Is that actually now going to be a great engine in a car that's actually going to have a chance of winning races and performing up at the front? But you just don't know till you see it challenging the others. Force India, that's not Force India, or is it Force India, or is it not Force India?
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be changing, but who knows? But it's like that's an unknown entity. They were doing well last year. They were like the best of the rest kind of thing. So there's a lot of questions that will be answered to
as well.
How they'll perform.
You've got Williams that seem a bit directionless at the moment in terms of the drivers. They clearly can't entice a good driver to turn up and drive for them.
I am worried for Williams this year.
I think they're going to be near. I think they're going to be battling Alfa Romeo or something like that near back.
They'll be battling each other. The teammates will be battling each other at the back, all on their own. They're going to be the team that is going to be disappointing this year, and they need a big shake-up.
Well,
in my opinion.
But for them, they can't entice a top driver to drive for them because they know they're not going to be that good.
Yeah, but they should be. They should be good. They should be able to entice the driver. Drivers should want to go to Williams because it's Williams.
Yeah.
But if they're not performing, then
I mean, that's
you
the
can't
thing.
get the drivers.
What, a couple of years ago, Williams were the best of the rest. And they had, I mean, last season was one of those where it's like, okay, can you make that step? Can you keep that step? Everyone ahead of you is going to make a step forward. Everyone behind you is going to make a step forward. Can you make a big enough step forward to stay in touch with those ahead and keep those behind you behind? And the answer was, unfortunately, no. And okay, do I think Felipe Massa would do better this year? No, I don't. But do I think Lance Stroll and Sergei Sorokin are the right drivers? No, I don't. It'll be interesting to see how they both get on. I mean, Sorokin is no slouch. He knows how to drive. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. Stroll, I think we've kind of seen what he can do. If this season, if he doesn't really perform, and I'm talking top level perform, I can see him being out. My concern though is
his dad's money is confirmed for another 2 years,
but also
including this.
Also, Tommy Hilfiger is a new James Bond villain. Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger are sponsors now of Mercedes, which to me just suggested. I know we talked about it a couple of weeks. Suggested like, give it a year or two and my lad will come drive for you. So, nah, fuck off, is my response. Apologies if anyone young, I should have given out a warning earlier. There will be bad language on this show. So I do apologise. But there we go. So yeah, I don't think Stroll's going to be able to perform. And I think, as Steve said, Williams are going to be struggling. I do think there's a possibility that this season we may not have that team like Sauber has been, Manor was, that team at the back that's never on the TV unless they're being lapped, and basically it's pointless them being there. I don't think we're going to have that this year unless one team has a major struggle. I think there will be battles at the back between your Williams, Force India, Alfa Romeo, Haas. So it'd be interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, if your front isn't going to be capped, at least give the back the opportunity to be able to close the gap a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see what will happen. Just to mention as well, for anyone that doesn't know, if you're out of touch with the new timings of Formula 1, the races will start at 10 past the hour. I have actually got the calendar here, so I'll quickly run through it so I can remind these guys and myself when it's on. So Friday morning, this is UK times by the way, Friday morning 12:30 AM will be the Australian GP Practice 1 build up, and at 1 AM practice will be live for FP1. FP2 starts at 5 AM. So Friday morning is when we get to see the cars on the track for the first time. I'm interested as well to know, guys, whether you're going to be staying up to watch the practice, getting up to watch the practice, or going to be watching it later on in the evening on repeats.
I'll be still up watching it.
I'll be recording it, watching it later.
I haven't decided yet. I've got a race myself this weekend to talk about bad time.
The actual race I will watch live, but the practice and stuff like that, I'll probably binge watch that the night before.
Yeah. Saturday morning 3 AM is the GP3, not GP3. I'm trying to read what it says on the screen. It's not working. They don't word it very well. The Australian GP Practice 3 where will be live at 3. So that's Saturday morning, and then qualifying build-up starts at 5 AM with qualifying live at 6 AM. So 6 AM for qualifying. Sunday, when the clocks go forward in the UK, so we lose an hour. Do we lose an hour?
No, I think I could have sworn we gain an hour, don't we?
Do we?
No, it's when they go backwards. No, when they go backwards, we gain the hour.
Are they not going backwards then?
No. Well, it says on there, don't forget the clocks go forward at 1 AM.
Yeah, so you lose an hour.
Yeah, great. So let's see, 5:30 on Sunday morning after the clocks have gone forward, we'll be on the grid live, and then at 10 past 6 the race is due to start, with repeats at 10 past 9, half 12, 5 PM and 8 PM. So yeah, I must have, the timing, I mean, I know it's in Australia, but the timing for me is a bit of a pain in the arse, because the practice session, like FP1, I'll probably stay up and watch, but FP2, that means I've got to stay up much longer to watch it. But then if I want to watch FP3 live, I'd have to stay up to watch FP2, so I get enough sleep, and then I can stay up to watch FP3. And then because I've stayed up to watch FP3, I'd have to stay up to watch qualifying. Then I'm going to end up wanting to sleep all day, which means I'll be up for the race, but then I've got my own race and my own commentary to do all day Sunday. So it's an absolute pain in the arse for me. So I'm half tempted to say, you know what, I'm going to watch none of it live. I'll watch it all on repeats in the evenings.
Aye.
I bet you don't know.
No, I won't, more than likely won't. No, Thursday night it'll be like, oh, I think I'll go to bed now. Oh, FP1's on, you know what, I'll just pop that on. Fucking hell, it's Sunday morning, the race is on. That's more than likely what it'd be like.
If you could put a bet down on a surprise world champion at the end of the year, who would you put your money on?
Fernando Alonso. He'd be an outsider. I think with the Renault engine in there, he's got an outside chance.
So if I were going to nip down to bookies, you'd say Alonso.
It depends. I'm going to pick on your terminology. Surprise outsider,
meaning somebody
who you'd never, right? One of the Toro Rossos. Could you really imagine one at Toro Rosso's winning championship? No, but that's
that. Engine.
No, I couldn't. But if you want a surprise, then Toro Rosso. Who do I think would win the title? If it's not going to be Hamilton, Probably Verstappen.
Yeah.
The Ferraris,
So-
though, are looking very good in practice.
Would you probably say Kimi would be an outsider?
No, I can't see Ferrari allowing Kimi to win it over Vettel. I think that they've got all their eggs in one basket.
I think next year, though, I think that Charles Leclerc, or whatever his name is, Chocolate Leclerc, he'll be in Ferrari. I think this will be Kimi's last year.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think he'd be wrong. I think Steve's right. Ferrari'd never let Raikkonen win the title unless it was never going to be possible for Vettel to win it, and they put all their eggs in the Raikkonen basket. I don't think Vettel's got the, I'm going to say, stability to take another title yet. And the reason I say that, at Red Bull he could do what he did, but he had the best car by an absolute mile. So it didn't really matter how he raced. He had the best car, and it was always pretty. You get it out front, you're gone. So it didn't really matter who was driving that. His only competitor was Webber, and Webber was restricted. So you now see him in a Ferrari. I mean, when the Red Bull wasn't the best car, Vettel crumbled. In the Ferrari, okay, he's won a few races, and I think there's probably been one race where you go, you know what, he can drive, he can overtake, and the rest of them, I see it as, I'm not seeing a fully confident in his ability, in his a car driver. That's, I mean, okay, you put Lewis Hamilton 15 seconds behind one of the Ferraris and say, right, if you want to win the race, you've got to pass him. You'll be able to tell just watching that he's on the limit, he's pushing like mad. There's been the odd occasion where the Merc hasn't been good enough at a track, and you can tell he's on the radio, I can't do it. But with Vettel, I've never really believed that he could hunt down and cleanly pass someone and show them that he's the better driver.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know that there's going to be like a bit of wheel banging. It's going to be a hint of desperation.
A hint of Schumacher in there.
Yeah.
That's something I don't want to see this season. I don't want the title to be decided on someone's over-aggressive attempt to win the title, shall we say.
Yeah. I mean, with the Toro Rosso, I don't think they got a chance of winning the title. I don't think they got a chance of getting on the podiums. But as a surprise, it would be good to see.
Can you just imagine, though, if the Honda...
I'm eating a bounty, sorry, I'm starving.
Can you just imagine, though, that if Honda's engine all of a sudden starts performing so well, that it puts that car on, front rows and podiums, McLaren would be like kicking themselves big time.
Yeah, they would. I mean, the thing is, you can't say it could never happen, because all you got to do, one word, Brawn.
Yeah.
It can happen. It does happen. It's happened in the past, and over the course of history of Formula One, Lotus, they should never have been able to win, but all of a sudden they become one of the biggest brands in Formula One. It can happen. Leicester in football, miracles can happen, and it is possible that come first qualifying session of the year, all of a sudden Toro Rosso's 1-2 on the grid and nobody can touch them.
Just wonder whether they get to the end of the race.
Well, yeah, that is a different question. I mean, what do you think is going to be the after effect if Toro Rosso beat McLaren this weekend?
I think that's going to be all the media talk, isn't it, about how the Honda engines have outperformed McLaren. It won't be about Toro Rosso outperforming McLaren. It'll be the Honda engine outperforming McLaren. That's what it'll come down to.
But as well, you know what McLaren are like. They're just so stupid as fuck. They'll just be like, oh, well, they've got they've benefited by having 3 years and all this shit, you know what I mean? They'll try and do a positive spin, but end up looking like dickheads.
And Honda will just say, well, McLaren restricted the room and space and the working relationship that we had, so we could never get the engine working how we wanted to in their car. Yeah. Toro Rosso have been different. Admittedly, though, right, we are. Well, I say no. James is going to look a little bit stupid with how much he's been taking the piss out of French Toast for saying they're going to fight for podiums. If they get a podium this weekend,
to be fair, you know what I want to happen. I want Toro Rosso. No offense, I want them to be like at the back, just to watch French Toast realise how fucking stupid he is. I'd love that.
I'm tempted to say though that I want Toro Rosso to succeed. I've been a McLaren fan for years, but I want Toro Rosso to succeed.
Why?
I think because of the Honda versus McLaren situation.
So is it? So again, is it you want Honda to succeed, not necessarily Toro Rosso?
No, not really. I don't really want Honda to succeed, but I like the idea of that package working, the Toro Rosso with a Honda engine working and pissing a lot of people off, and then seeing what the future holds. Will it go in a Red Bull? Will it be the next groundbreaking thing?
It's got the potential to be. As long as they've got a big enough battery.
Yeah, well, I guess we will have to wait and see. Anything else that you can think of that you want to mention about this weekend's race? Anything you're looking forward to, or anything I would say that you're going to miss? But we know that it'd be the grid girls.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about who they're going to have doing the interview and the podium. Maybe they should get someone like Margot Robbie or someone to do it.
Yeah. Don't lie down, James. You won't be able to roll over. I mean, I'm trying to think. Who did they have? Who did they have there last year? Was it Webber last year? I know they often have Webber in Australia.
Yeah, Webber were there when I was there. But the year before that, it were Arnold. I wish I'd been there the year before. I think that were 2014, Arnold were there. So yeah, 2015. So it was 2015 Arnold were there. 2016 I were there with Vicky, and it was Webber. But I can't remember who were on podium last year. Might have been Webber again.
I think it may have been. But yeah.
What was that fucking year where there was just some random woman and everybody was like, who the fuck is she? And she just didn't even know a thing about, like, who the fuck? How have you got on the podium? And she's just like, oh, so Lewis, was it a hard race? It's like, what?
It wasn't, but it is now. You're gonna have to have a look and find out, James. I mentioned a little while ago I've got a few bits of tech insight about a couple of the teams, and one of them's to do with Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. I'm going to quickly go through that actually, because we've talked a bit about how small Ferrari's side pods are, haven't we? And whether they're how it's going to work for them this season. And let's see, I'm going to read.
I think we were talking about how small the McLaren's side pods were. Whether they were like tiny loans.
Yeah. Well, what I've got here, I'll read what I've got. I'm looking at Tech Insight's webpage, and they're saying that Ferrari made a splash in 2017 by placing a deformable safety structure outside of the side pod, and several teams, Williams, Red Bull, Sauber and Haas, have followed in the Italian team's lead this season. Someone's gone for a dump. The main advantage of such an approach is it allows the main body of the side pods to be much shorter. From an aero perspective, this is a major help. The The further back they are from the car's front axle, the less disturbance from the airflow generated by the front tyres. It does say about, you can have a look at some of the drawings that are showing, but I won't, 'cause I'm not going to show them. Excuse you. I didn't know you had a giraffe or an elephant in your bathroom. I hope that was your nose as well. If that was your arse, Jesus. Okay, so however, Ferrari themselves have taken the design to another level in 2018, introducing a completely new inlet which works in harmony with a new wing mirror design. And this is interesting, a new wing mirror design that it does show on these images. The idea is that a slot in the wing mirror allows air to flow through it, thereby improving cooling to the inlet. So there's actually a slot in the back of the wing mirror that is going to direct air from the wing mirror down to the side pod. Now that's taking things to a whole new level, that is. And it also goes on to say, in a world where cooling equals drag, the more efficient teams can be with cooling, the more aggressive they can be with packaging, and Ferrari will be hoping they're onto a winner. So yeah, that's why Ferrari have worked their side pod so much. They're obviously feeling that there's big gains to be had there, and it even includes maximising the effect of the wing mirrors.
I just hope we get to see a bit more of that Sergio Marchionne. He isn't scared to fucking open his mouth. I can't speak to. Oh no.
It's because he knows. It's because he knows you're going to pick him apart, James.
I liked him when he first came in. He was right cool, and I just said, bloody hell, we won't mess with him if he'll murder you. Then he just turned into this scared fucking little pussy.
Yeah. Oh, James.
And that's what I think, Mr. Ferrari.
Oh my God. We were talking the other day, right, about how F1 has started doing a podcast, and I jokingly said, "Oh, we got some competition now," and James's response was, "Yeah, but they don't have a shit live on air." You're disgusting. I work with disgusting animals.
All it is I just hope, like, in 10 years' time we get a job, and then when they actually, whoever employs us, listens back to where we started, and they're just, like, horrified, like, delete this from the internet.
Just imagine if us lot worked on F1, right? And be like, well, we're just going to go down to James in the pit lane. James, what news have you got for us? Hi, this is James. There's no fucking toilet roll in the toilets. And then has a shit.
Yeah, that's it. You know, when Martin Brundle does, like, his walks around the track, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm here at turn 3, and there goes Hamilton." Oh, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm looking for the best cubicle around the circuit."
I'm at turn 4's toilets. There's 3 cubicles.
That's it.
Only one's got toilet roll.
They'd be asking me questions, and I'd be just solely focused on what are the amenities like in each toilet.
And then we go down to Steve. He's at turn 7. Steve, what's the news down there? Oh, well, the fucking burgers are brilliant down here. There's a Chinese van. There's a kebab van.
I was imagining just Steve outside, and there's a Mr. Whippy down at turn 4.
Yeah, we cut to Steve. Yeah, can I have 2 flakes in that, please, mate? Oh, fucking.
Like, when Sky Sports did that stupid thing that they with Natalie Pinkham going, spending the Monaco Grand Prix with unlimited money, and they're like, people sat at fucking Casino Square eating a meal during the Grand Prix with, like, gold-plated, like, silverware. Well, that makes sense, does it? Goldware, yeah. Like, and they weren't even watching the fucking race. Like Alonso, Hamilton, and Vettel blasting through Casino Square, and they're just like eating salmon, going, "How many billions have we got in the bank?" I just people like that. That's what I can't stand. These ultra ultra multi-millionaires that are there just because they sell products for companies.
You're just jealous, James. You're just jealous.
I am jealous. I mean, that Cara Delevingne, when she was at Monaco, she doesn't know one end of a Formula 1 car from another. And she's right. She's like a bloody stick insect.
You wouldn't say no, though, would you? Because I've got a girlfriend, I'm going to have to say yes, I would say no.
Nah, I think she looks a bit too boyish for me. Now, if Katy Perry were on the grid, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, back to a little bit of technical stuff, rather than how much loo roll is in the toilets. Okay, talking Renault. Obviously, this will include Red Bull,
the best looking car on the grid.
Yep, but it also includes Red Bull, potentially McLaren as well, and this to do. Again from F1 Tech Insight webpage, saying that teams will stop at nothing to get an aerodynamic boost, and Renault's new features, RS18 features one of the most interesting solutions on the grid. Renault have caught the eye of many, principally in the way that they have angled their exhaust upwards at the maximum permitted angle of 5 degrees, so as to blow the underside of the rear wing. Why do they want to do this? Well, in simple terms, to increase the downforce capability of the rear wing. The science works like this. Increasing the speed of the flow on the wing's underside creates a bigger air pressure difference between the wing's upper and lower surfaces, thereby increasing the downward force exerted on the wing and through the tyres. So by angling their exhaust up a little bit to the maximum amount allowed, is going to be able to give them additional rear downforce. What it does mean though is their rear wing potentially could get very, very hot and even melt, so they have had to heat protect it. Let's see, Renault's arrangement in this response to a 2018 regulation change that has limited the size and placement of the monkey seat winglets, which we talked a little bit about a couple of weeks ago, and moved the exhaust outlet further back. Previously, teams were using the monkey seat to connect up the exhaust plume with the airflow. So basically they were using the monkey seat to make the exhaust gases go up towards the rear wing. In order to limit this practice, the FIA changed the rules, making it so that the exhaust must now be 235mm back of the rear axle line rather than 185, and the monkey seat had to be repositioned quite a lot. The upshot of it is that any winglet devices are now effectively ahead of the exhaust outlet rather than behind it, so they can no longer be used to help direct the exhaust gases towards the rear wing. So that's why Renault have decided to angle their exhaust instead. So there we go. Thoughts on that, guys?
Any sort of technical advantage a team's going to get, they're going to take it. I'm surprised other teams haven't done the same.
Well, McLaren probably haven't done it because they want to do whatever they want to do, no matter who makes their engine. It's interesting though that, well, it's not. I wouldn't say interesting. I'm not surprised that an Adrian Newey designed car has said, you know what, we need to use those exhaust gases to our benefit, even if it means adding potentially a little bit of extra weight onto the rear wing. But yeah, I do still wonder though whether F1 is just getting. It's going too far. It's making, when you've got to go into an essay to explain what something does, it's a bit too much.
As well, I seem to remember, I think it was 2011, when they had blown exhaust and all that shit.
Yeah.
The Enstone team, which is now Renault, they did a forward-facing exhaust. I don't know if you remember that. It came out, the exhaust came out aiming forwards underneath the side pods. So their blown exhaust went forwards and then pushed down and underneath the car.
Oh.
Get more air travel underneath.
You get more air travel underneath. But I don't know if you remember, Nick Heidfeld, I think it were at
side of the car exploded.
The side of the car exploded because of the exhaust gas ignited.
Yeah.
But at least they were able to push the envelope. But at the beginning of the season, they were going, "Oh, this new positioning of our thing, it's going to be amazing," and it just went fucking tits up.
Yeah.
So you can't really judge out until you see it on track.
No.
For at least a few races.
That is very, very true. Okay, I think it may be time to get on to our predictions for this coming race. Because obviously the season has been building up and been building up. Footage of testing is very limited. So there's not loads and loads that we can really talk about without boring everybody with too much technical stuff, which they could easily find. I mean, I must admit, Ted's notebooks, I still haven't watched them. I need to, because as much as I wouldn't want to sit here going through everything he talks about, I am interested in the way right. Ted for me is kind of like Brian Cox, Professor Brian Cox. Some parts of science are really, really boring.
Science amazing.
Well, some parts of science are really, really boring. But if you've got someone that just entertains you, then you'll listen to what they're saying, and that's kind of how I am when I watch Ted. I like how he presents himself, so I am going to have to catch up on them. But we are going to have to get on to our predictions, and then next Tuesday we can rip Formula 1 apart for whatever show it puts on this weekend, because you can guarantee if there's too many replays, James is going to go fucking mental. Aren't you, James?
It's just on lap one. It's like, let me watch the lap. Don't. When they're that close, anything can happen. And rather than seeing it, let's have another replay from. You know what? Wait for a safety car, and then show your replays. Don't piss me about, because you miss half a race.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm already pissing it on the start anyway.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to start watching FP1 and me and Steve are going to get a message. They're fucking showing someone's girlfriend in the pits. I don't want to fucking see them. Okay then, guys.
Maybe we should say that these F1 drivers maybe have to bring their wags. You know, so that it's a bit of a competition, really. Who's got the best wag?
You could, but one thing I will say about Vettel, I'm not a big fan of his, but one thing I will say that I like about him, he has kept his partner and family life very separate from Formula 1.
Yeah, but, you know, it might be because they're not Nicole Scherzinger.
Maybe, but at the same time, James, this is no disrespect to Vicky, so I apologise for whatever may happen now, but you wouldn't want your partner on your shoulder all day while you're at work, would you? She wouldn't want you there, that's for sure.
we actually did used to work in the same building.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I usually just got bollocked all day.
No, you just get bollocked all night. Sorry, I'm gonna cause domestics here. But no, I mean, I wouldn't want to. Okay, as a racing driver, it'd be nice to be able to go and race, and then when you're finished, you can spend a bit of time with the family and stuff. But at the same time, I think with me, if I was a racing driver, I'm there to do my job. The whole weekend would be much more of a private thing for me, I think.
The thing I like about Alonso is every year he's got a different one.
They're like his engines, he can't make his mind up. I wonder if he's ever said to a woman, "You're like a GP2 engine."
You're like a quick chicken.
No comment. Okay, we're going to go on to our predictions then for this coming weekend, as it sounds like someone's trying to squeeze themselves into a leather pair of trousers.
Come on.
So, we're going to do 6 predictions, guys. So, I'm going to want to know who you think is going to take pole position for this weekend.
Okay, I'm going to put my bet down as saying Lewis Hamilton.
I'm going to put my bet down and say Danny Ricciardo.
Ooh.
He's usually not performed well in Australia, and to be fair, he is. As soon as he gets to Australia, he's treated like a fucking performing monkey. He's everywhere. I remember getting on a bus in Australia the week before the Grand Prix, well, a few days before the Grand Prix, and his voice came over on the bus going, "Hey everybody, make sure you come along the wall." Yeah. I mean that ain't a good impression, but you're like, right. If he spent that much time going around all these places doing promotional shit, he's not going to be in right mindset. And I think this year he might just go, you know what, fuck all this promotion, let's get a good result.
Quite possibly.
Also, it could be his last year at Red Bull. And if he's wanting to get into a Ferrari or Mercedes, he needs to get on that front row as often as possible.
Yeah. Well, that's it. He needs to beat Verstappen, because at the end of the day, I think if it came down to it and both of them two were in a Mercedes, I think Verstappen would beat him hands down. So he needs to do everything he can to impress this year.
Okay, so James is going for Ricciardo, Steve's going for Hamilton. I'm going to go for Vettel. I think Vettel's going to take pole position. Okay, who do you think is going to win the race?
Max Verstappen.
I'll go with Hamilton.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to go with Ricciardo. And I'll tell you why. I think it's going to be Vettel and Hamilton front row of the grid, and they're going to take each other out. Ricciardo's then going to inherit the lead and win. That's my prediction. So either that or Ricciardo will take out Hamilton and Vettel. But yeah, I'm going to pick Ricciardo. Okay, first to crash.
Oh,
Ericsson.
Which one? Both of them two into each other?
Both of them two into each other, yeah.
Ericsson into...
No, I know it's gonna be Grosjean turn one. His brakes will fail.
I've only got a little box to write what your prediction is, and I've just filled it with Ericsson with Magnussen, and now you want to change it to Grosjean.
First answer. Ericsson and Magnussen.
Or maybe Grosjean or Stroll or...
I'm going to say Stroll.
Okay, and I am going to go Vettel into Hamilton. Okay. A prediction that Steve chose last night, something that we should make a prediction on, will be what lap the Honda blows on in the race.
The last lap.
Okay.
I can't remember how many laps it is. I think it's 70 something. I'm going to go with lap 48.
So Steve's going with lap 48.
Yep.
And I'm going with it won't blow.
Ooh.
Neither of them.
Yep, neither of them will blow.
I'm just thinking, maybe I should have gone with qualifying.
Could have done. But no, it's in the race. I mean, it might blow in practice or qualifying, but in the race, I don't think they're going to have a problem with the engine blowing. Because I think for Honda's number one goal this weekend is to get to the end of the race. Nothing else matters, I think, for Honda. Okay then, who's going to be on your podium, guys?
Who's your first, me or James?
Doesn't matter.
Verstappen's going to win, isn't he? I'll say Verstappen to win. Kimi pissed off in second because he could have won but he didn't. And then I'll say Ricciardo third.
Interesting. So Mercedes are nowhere in James's view. Okay, Steve?
I'll go with Hamilton for the win, as I've already said, and then second will be Vettel with Ricciardo third.
Okay, I'm going to go with Ricciardo winning. Verstappen second. Who's the Toro Rosso drivers?
Pierre Gasly
Yeah.
and Brendan Hartley.
Fuck. Gasly. I'm going to take a gamble, proper gamble, Gasly, and that's going to lead on to my shock, which is the final prediction. A shock of the event is going to be that Gasly, Toro Rosso, podium.
That would be a shock.
So, what are you going to predict as being your shock of the race?
My shock of the race is going to be one of the Alfa Romeos beating Vettel.
Ooh.
And I think it's going to be Charles Leclerc.
Okay, Steve.
My shock is going to be that the Honda doesn't blow up.
Even though you've picked that it'll blow up on lap 48.
I put the eggs in both baskets.
Yeah, okay. So no Honda blowing.
Hang on, that means Steve wins no matter what.
True. In one of those boxes, he's going to get a point. Well, actually, no. He could end up with no points. If a Honda blows, he gets no points for the shock, and if it blows on any other lap than lap 48, he gets no points. So he could end up with none. He could end up with one. He could end up with two.
Let's say you have a 10-lap margin, 5 either side.
Alright, I'll say in the 40s.
No.
Lap 40 to 50.
So I'll say within the last 10 laps.
No. What I'll do, right? You've already picked your lap, right? So whoever is closest will get the point.
Right.
Okay. They better not fucking blow now. If it blows before the start of the race, then I win because it hasn't blown in the race. It's blown before the race. I'm just putting that out there. Okay, so that's our predictions then for this weekend's race. On Tuesday, when we do our next podcast, we will review our predictions and come up with a point score for them. And we'll try and continue that on throughout the course of the season. And also, basically, there'll be like 4 or 5 that are regular predictions, and then there'll be a couple that will change about. So, like the shock of the race or the lap the Honda blows. There'll be 2 that could get changed around. So, if you have any suggestions of what we could make a prediction on for the next race, feel free to drop us a message in the comments section. On that, guys, I was wondering if there's anything else that you want to mention before this weekend's race.
I think this is the season where, unfortunately, Bottas really doesn't perform as well as he did last year. And that'll be the catalyst for him heading back to Williams next year.
Interesting. Anything for you, Steve?
I'm going to be controversial with what I'm going to say now. I think there's going to be some sort of issue, with the halo, something that had not been thought of, or and not come up in testing, that has impeded the drivers somehow during the race, and because of that, they might end up having to have a turnaround on what they do with the halo.
Yeah, I could see that happening, and the problem is, if they come to that situation, it's a major fucking problem because it's integrated into the car. I was thinking about this last night when I was trying to get to sleep. It's all well and good testing the car. James mentioned about testing earlier. You just don't know until you're out there doing it. We haven't seen what happens when the cars crash into each other. So that for me is not. I don't want to say interesting to see what's going to happen, but it's an unknown. It's all well and good firing tyres at the halo and the side pods or whatever, but you don't know really what's going to happen until something happens. And if sport has shown us anything over the last 40 years, is that things can happen that you never predicted, even though you think you've predicted everything. So, I mean, I'm hoping nothing bad happens, but I would like to know how the cars are going to react when you got Grosjean doing a Grosjean at Spa, or Alonso having his rollover at Australia. All those kind of situations. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, Steve, I'm going to move away a little bit from the Australian Grand Prix, but I'm just wondering.
I'm just trying to just mention something, though, that just crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the car has a mechanical problem and it stops, and you hear the team say to the driver over the radio, when you get out of the car, jump.
Yeah.
Do not have contact with the car and the ground at the same time because you get electric shock.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see them trying to do that with the Halo.
Yeah, I reckon they'll just step onto not the nose, but the body of the car just ahead of the steering wheel, and then jump.
Possibly.
But I mean, it is going to take real life racing situations to see what's going to happen with it, and I can imagine there's going to be some frustrations. I have just thought of something that's been a bugbear of mine over the last 3 years. Actually, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but race 1, right? FP1, it happens in FP1, 2 and 3. It then happens in qualifying, and it also affects the race. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the timing tower, the on-screen displays don't work properly for race 1. It's almost as if everyone in that department has taken a holiday for a year and can't remember how to work stuff. And I'm hoping to God this season the data actually works, because it's very frustrating that first practice session as a fan sitting there going, right, okay, how is everybody doing, and you can't even see the lap times.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but that's fucking Jean Todd's fault. I don't know what he gets paid for.
To be fair though, did you hear what he said about Ferrari recently?
He loves them.
No, he put his foot down with them. He fucking I don't think I bookmarked the story, but you know how like Ferrari have been going on about, if we don't, I remember the story, if we don't get our way, we're going to do this, blah blah blah. Jean Todt actually turned around the other day and said, you know what, Ferrari have got access to a veto, right, that they have threatened to use on numerous occasions. He says, but to be honest, I don't think they should have that veto anymore. They were given the veto option in the days of Enzo Ferrari, because majority of the teams were based in the UK and Enzo and Ferrari were on their own in Italy. Because of that being seen as a bit of a disadvantage to him, he was given the option of a veto. He's now turned around and said, given the sort of the age that we live in now, there is no disadvantage to them being located where they are, so they should no longer have this veto. So he's basically turned around and said, you keep going on about you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I don't even think you should have a fucking say. Piss off.
Well, if that's the reason why they got the veto, then so should Toro Rosso, because they're in Italy, and so should Sauber, Alfa Romeo Sauber, because they're in Austria or wherever it is.
Switzerland.
Yeah. So the other team should have the veto as well.
Yep. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does try and either that, or he's just trying to come out as, look, we're not Ferrari international assistants. But
yeah.
Anyway, okay. Going to move away from F1 a little bit, because I know Steve and James aren't feeling too well. But Steve, I know there's a little story you want to talk about because you mentioned it last night. Something to do with underwear.
Yeah, Formula E race at the weekend. There was a great battle between the front two drivers, De Grassi and John-Eric Verne, I believe it to be. And after the race, it comes out that De Grassi has been given a fine and some penalty points on his super licence because he wore the wrong underwear. I can understand that they have to wear fireproof stuff and what have you, but I wouldn't have thought the underwear would have really mattered. But I want to know, who checks whether they're wearing the right underwear? I mean, do you have to have someone stood there watching them get dressed and undressed? Unless they've got like detectors on the underwear and they couldn't detect their his underwear was going around the circuit or something, so they knew he wasn't wearing his underwear.
Well,
But it's a strange one.
Well, I can tell you, Degrassi was summoned to see the stewards after the race, and it was determined that after checking his clothes, helmet and the frontal head restraint, or otherwise known as the hands device, of the drivers, it was found that the driver wore short, flame-resistant underwear pants, which are not allowed by the International Sporting Code. So they found out by basically asking him to strip. Play the stripper music now. So yeah, he was basically asked to strip, I believe, show what he's wearing. I mean, it is a bit of a stupid one, but at the same time, you've got to be wearing the right outfit. You've got to be wearing the right clothes. Because let's say if something had happened and
he'd burnt his bollocks.
He'd burnt his balls, yeah, then it would be a problem. Admittedly though, if you're wearing a fireproof overall but your underpants set on fire, you've probably got massive issues, because the flames would have to be so great to heat up your underwear that they set fire on their own without actual flame, because you're wearing flame-proof overalls. But I do think that's one of those things that they can't be seen to go, you know what, it's all right on this occasion, don't do it again. A little bit like when we talked about Vettel crashing into Hamilton. They should have thrown the fucking book at him instead of going, you know what, we'll give you a slap on the wrist because you're fighting for a title.
But £10,000 fine for wearing the wrong underwear. That's an expensive pair.
That is an expensive pair of boxers, that is, definitely. Did you hear what else happened in the Formula E race this weekend?
I watched it and I fell asleep towards the end, but go on.
Daniel Abt, who won the race in Mexico, was running third when he had a seatbelt issue.
Yes.
He came into the pits to get the belts fixed and eventually came out in 14th. He went on to say that he was completely unbuckled in the car, which he has no clue how that's even possible. He said they need to figure it out. Well, basically, he came in, did his pit stop, jumped into the second car, drove off, and while he's going around the track, his belts came totally unbuckled, and he's basically... is a free sausage in a bun in the car. I gotta say, probably a very, very scary situation to be in, because at that split second that happens, more than likely through your mind is going to be, if anything hits me or I hit anything, I'm fucked.
Yeah. If he'd have been in an incident, he'd have been ejected from the car. Well, most likely.
Well, to be fair, he'd probably end up dead, that's for certain, because even if he stayed in the car, there's nothing to stop his body moving forward.
Do you know, though, whether he or the team got fined for it?
I know there's an investigation going on as to how it happened. I don't know whether they'll be done for an unsafe release, because from what they checked on race day, from what I read, was that when he left the pits, everything was buckled as it should be. So there was some kind of failure while he was on the track. So I don't think he'll get done for any kind of unsafe release situation. But as for
unsafe seatbelt release,
yeah. But as for something failing on the track, I can't see that being something the FIA go, you know what, get it sorted out, let us know how you get on. If I was at the FIA, I'd be like, right, okay, this is one of our FIA guys, he's coming to your offices until you work out what the fuck happened, and he's overseeing everything, you report to him. Because that's okay, 10 grand for wearing the wrong underpants. You could say the team should get fined more, but at the same time, that's not the important thing. The important thing is finding out what the fuck happened, because before heading into the F1 season, if it's the same manufacturer of seatbelt, they need to make sure it's not going to happen in an F1 car as well, or in any other formula.
Well, I do know that the seatbelts in Formula E have got sensors on them, and the stewards can tell when the seatbelts are not connected correctly, because this is one of the things that they wanted to make sure when because Formula E used to have a minimum pit stop time, which would be different for different circuits, could be 50 odd seconds. And basically, it was so that the drivers didn't have to rush to get in the car to make sure they were buckled in safely and all that. So they'd have time to get it all done, make sure it's done before they leave the pits. Whereas now, they've got these new buckles with sensors on them, and they've done various tests on them to make sure that the sensors work. But obviously, for whatever reason, the buckle's not working. But if it can come undone just from him driving around, what would happen if somebody's in a big accident and it comes undone because of the accident?
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to picture gruesome scenes, but do you remember when, was it Ericsson in the Renault at Eau Rouge a couple of season ago? He had that massive shunt that knocked his headrest out. You imagine that kind of crash when your seatbelts come undone.
You're going through the tyre wall yourself.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in a Formula 1 car, to be honest, you're not going to get ejected. Your body's just going to go straight forward and the steering wheel's going to take your head off.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Which nobody wants to see that, apart from in the movies. Okay, so that's Degrassi's underwear. Apt being unbuckled, talked about. I've got something I want to show you guys. Actually, sticking to a bit of a racing theme. Actually, I have got something that I do want to show you. So bear with me 1 second. I need to. I've got a couple of things that I want to show you, so I need to get some links. So I'm going to send you a link in the chat, guys, and let me know when you're ready to play it, and I can play it on the live stream.
Hang on, it's loading now. Bloody hell, it's taking a while this.
By the way, James, don't lie down because you'll nod off.
Yeah, I'm sat up tonight. I'm
good.
Not last time I laid on bed and it was the biggest mistake ever.
We're going to get onto that at some point, don't you worry.
It's just spinning round, it's not actually loading.
It will in a moment, I'm sure.
I'm ready whenever James is.
Hang on. Oh, come on.
Come on, Eileen.
It's just bloody spinning.
Try refreshing it.
Jesus, come on.
You've been watching too much filth, you have, James.
No, it's never. I never watch anything like that.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry, did you say on that device?
Yeah, no, it has to be on this device. Hang on, no.
Or like, it has to be on this device.
Oh my God. Oh, come on. Everything's just fucking spinning.
Maybe it's not, maybe it's just you that's spinning.
Oh, no results found. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's timed out.
But yeah, it's like as if the internet's not on, but it clearly is because we're talking. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a PlayStation. PSN is down. Well, how come I'm talking to Steve on the PlayStation chat then?
No results found.
Well, it's definitely there.
I've got it ready to play.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Technology.
Yeah, other videos are playing. Apart from that one, it just says not found. Oh, for God's sake. We try again on Messenger. Oh, yeah, right, here we go. Bloody hell, it's finally
Okay,
explained.
he's ready to play. So, we were talking about safety. So, click play in 3, 2, 1 in a moment, and we can talk about safety.
3, 2, 1 in a moment.
So, are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh, looks like old Suzuka. Old Suzuka in an old car. Not much safety in them. Wouldn't want to crash it, would you? Where's he going? Oh dear.
Okay, now, did you see that?
That's a voice I recognise. Stay dark.
Yeah, that's the view I had last night.
Yeah, it didn't go well for Dave, did it? And would this be your revenge, James, for Dave sending in the video of you crashing the other week?
Yeah, in your face, Dave.
Wait, you say that? What happened to you in your race last night, James?
Well, we were both quite pissed, right? Well, I'd done hardly any practice because I've been editing all week, and then and I've not been feeling too cracking. So then I sat down and did set up for the race last night, and we only had like 10 minutes to practice. And the circuit itself's kind of different to the GP circuit. Like you can see there in that final corner, you don't do the chicane, you go flat out. Where Senna and Prost crash, you just go flat out through there. And also, I'm trying to think. After Degner 2, that hairpin where I drove clean into the side here, that in there, it sort of like kinks left, so you miss the hairpin, and it takes you straight onto Spoon. But yeah, no, it is a cracking circuit though. But yeah, Dave ended up, he was just setting up his live stream and then went, oh, I'm not in the lobby. So randomly we're out of the lobby. And then I were like, oh, fucking hell, I can't believe that. Race started, went out of turn 1, and a chap at the side of me understeered and slammed into the side of me. And I ended up upside down at turn 1. So it were a cracking race.
Yep, very, very good. Okay, going to show you something else in a moment as well. So I'm just going to get ready for that. You know how recently we've been doing our sort of How a Man Does series? Well, we've got a new How a Man Does video, right? But it's also combined with something else. So I'm going to show it to the viewers in a moment. I'm going to send it to you two as well. Now, while this video is on, the viewers won't be able to hear me, Steve or James, because it's a video that I would like people to be able to watch and listen to. So, if you guys let me know when you're ready to hit play, and I shall put it on for the viewers. Or else if I send the link, doesn't it? I'd pasted it, I just hadn't sent it. Yeah, so if you,
my fucking god.
So if you let me know when you're ready to play, we'll put it on for the viewers.
Hang on, it's loading.
Oh,
Oh, right, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, I'm loving the music. Yes.
In that case then, folks, here you go. Here's the next.
Enjoy.
How a Man Does in 3, 2, 1, go. I'll tell you what, TV crew here. Steve's behind the camera, James is asleep. We did the review of McDonald's burger and said I bet I could do better myself, so that's what I'm doing, trying to anyway. And I'm about to stack up the burgers, so you can watch me put the burgers together, or try to at least. So it's going to be a bit of a mismatch. The burgers were too big to cook in a frying pan, so I'm going to let them sit for a moment. Yeah, they were too big for my frying pan, which was a little bit of a problem. well, we'll see how we get on anyway. Right. I need to turn everything off. Okay, so how I think a McDonald's Big Mac should be anyway. So let's go. We're going to start off with burger and burger. Already, just this one burger is probably bigger than both of the other burgers that were in the Grand Mac together. Okay, so burger, little bit of cheese. Don't need too much cheese yet, really. You can tell I've got a messy kitchen as well, by the way. A little bit of seasoning. Been watching Gordon Ramsay today. Got season everything, you fucking wanker. Okay, he's not a cockney, but you are allowed to speak as well, by the way, Steve.
Hello.
Okay.
My mouth's watering too much.
Well, we'll see if it's still going to be the same in a few moments. I can't work out. I'm going to put the bacon in the middle, actually. I'm going to put the bacon in now. I couldn't decide at which point to put the bacon in. Now, I've only gone for the one rasher of bacon because it's going to get completely smothered and covered in a few moments time by some pulled pork. So that burger's not too bad looking at the moment, but now hopefully for the pièce de résistance. Took fucking ages to cook this pulled pork, by the way. I reckon we just slam it on, don't you?
Just chuck it on in the middle.
Now, I need to work out how much this is actually going to have cost. I can tell you it's not a lot.
More or less than a Grand Mac?
I think it's less than a Grand Mac. I mean, I would have liked some more barbecue sauce in my pulled pork, to be honest, so that it was dripping.
Pour some on.
Well, that is why that's there. Oh, cooking is not my speciality. Bacon, don't mind a bit of bacon. Alright, not gone for normal cobs either, gone for muffin cobs, and now that, to me, is a burger, and I really should have a flag on the end of those sticks. Now the question is, does that look more appetising than a Grand fucking Mac? Because if it does, and this is cheaper, why do we bother? Okay, I probably could have put more cheese in it, but I'm happy with that. We'll see how it tastes. What, nearly halfway through the burger?
Yeah.
And your thoughts?
I'm wondering whether I'm going to eat it all because I'm so full up already. Very filling. Better than a Grand Mac, definitely.
I didn't even lead him into that question. I mean, I was going to ask you, is it better than a Grand Mac? I mean, I bet half for mine, and I've loved it.
Well, I'm not stopping to talk. But yeah.
Well, I've got to say, I'm quite happy with that. It might look an absolute mess, but you know what? It's very nice. It's very tasty. James's mouth will be watering, I'm sure.
His fault for falling asleep.
Yeah, and I will work out the price, how much it costs for the burger, although I'm not going to put labour costs in there. But I'm pretty sure it will work out cheaper than a Grand Mac as well. I don't know how I'm going to finish eating my burger, so actually, I was going to say review over out of 10. You gave a Grand Mac 10 out of 10 because it was better than a Big Mac. So come on, out
Did
of
I
10.
really give it 10 out of Grand Mac 10 out of 10?
I think you did. So come on. In comparison to a Grand Mac, just as a burger.
I remember giving the Big Mac 10 out of 10 because I'd said Big Mac is a Big Mac.
Oh, right, okay, you might have done, and then you said 8 out of 10 for the Grand Mac, okay.
As a burger in a meal, 10 out of 10. In comparison to something else, like, it tops everything else I've had from McDonald's anyway.
See, maybe McDonald's should employ me. No, I doubt it. Anyway, that's it. Enjoy. Well, no, I'm going to.
And we're back live, and I'm fucking hungry now. Now, the interesting thing about that, I find, is, right, I did show the price of the burger, £4.20, but right at the very end, I went through the burger cost. The Grand Mac on its own is $3.99, right? My burger, the Big Dave burger, was £4.20, but if you take the pulled pork out of it, and it's still bigger than a Grand Mac, its price is only £2.21, so it's £1.70-ish cheaper than the Grand Mac. If you take the pulled pork out of it, and you take the pulled pork out, it'd still be a better burger. But yeah, it was fucking lovely though, absolutely lovely.
I think James is going to have to do one.
James has got his head in the fridge now.
No. I don't know if this is a bad idea. I'm laid on the floor. I know.
It's a good idea, James, because you'd be asleep in 20 minutes.
No, I'm laid on the floor. I'm going to tell you a story. I went to, other morning, I woke up. I think it was last Sunday, not this Sunday gone, the one before. Wakes up, and I have cereal, Cocoa Pops. I'm like, I'm happy with that. I'm fine, editing away, sorting some stuff out. And then Vicky wakes up and goes, "Oh, I really fancy some hash browns from McDonald's." I went, well, come with me then. We'll go get it. Oh no, I'm busy with work, but you are doing all. Can you go get it?
Right.
I'm like, right. So you want hash browns and what? Coffee. I'll have a coffee. Like as if we don't have a kettle. So I'm like, all right. So sets off. It's only like 5 minutes down the road. Pulls up. I think, you know what, it looks quite busy for a Sunday. I'll go through drive-through. Went through drive-through. Hello, what do you want? Oh, I'll have 3 hash browns and a coffee. Is that all? Yeah. Right, go around, pay for it. Pulls up. Lady goes, well, this is what I thought I heard. She starts going, back up. I went, I can't back up, there's a car right behind me. She went, no, park up. I went, park up? She's like, yeah, park up over there and we'll bring you your order. What's up, Billy, you having a fit? What's going on? So she goes, yeah, park up over there, we'll bring it over. Right? Parks up. I'm sat there. And I'm sat there. I'm thinking, it's been about 10 minutes. Where the fuck is me? I reckon it's a hash browns. Gets up, and there's people parking up next to me waiting, and they're looking a bit like, well, we don't usually park up, usually he just brings it over. So, but they're being seen to within like 2 minutes, and then they're off, and I'm like, fucking hell, this is like third person, and I'm still sat here. And there's lads coming out looking thick as fuck, literally looking at cars, and obviously they've wrote down what car people are in, and there's these lads just looking around like to say which car's this for. And I stands up, and literally I'm like, because the drive-through it's only like the width of a car, and I'm parked like at the other side of the road where the drive-through is. I stands up, I gets out of the car, so I must have been about 5-6 metres away from the lady that served me at the park up. Says, where's my food? She says, what? I says, where's my food? I've been here like 10 minutes. It's meant to be fast food, this. when you give me a coffee, it's nearly bloody cold. She's like, oh, I'm really sorry. There'll be a bloke out in a minute with your stuff. I'm like, right, cheers. He sits back in my car. And then I think to myself, well, fucking hell, it's been another 5 minutes. What the fuck else? Gets out of my car, and I literally stand at the back of it, aiming towards the lady. So now she can't really concentrate because I'm staring at her. So where the fuck is my phone?
She's thinking, what the fuck are you doing?
And I wasn't really hungry, but if I'd been hungry, I would have been more pissed. But I was just like, and she literally looked at me and went, "Are you alright?" I went, "No, where's my food?" And she went, "They're not brought you it yet." I says, "No." So I'm like, oh. And then she goes, "Oh, he's on his way out now." And I went, "Finally." Lad walks across and literally looks at my car and walks straight past me. And I'm tracking with my head as if to say, where the fuck's he going? And I looked straight back at her and I just put my arms up as if to say, what the fuck's going on? And then, like 2 minutes later, this lad ran out and was like, oh, I'm really, really sorry. We've put in some extra hash browns. Got home and Vicky was like, oh, coffee's cold and then hash browns are nearly burnt. And I was just like, what a fucking joke that was.
Okay, sounds about right, that does.
I'm loving it.
I'm not a big fan of drive-thrus myself. I prefer to go in and get me order. But that's fast food, I suppose. But do you reckon, James, you might be interested in doing a how a man does food version for yourself at some point?
Yeah, I think I should. Well, how a man does drive-through. I think I need to do.
Yeah, just make sure you're not driving while you're recording.
I get Vicky to record me.
Yeah. I've got something else I want to show you. I was having a look on the internet the other day, and I saw something that I thought I need to show. I need to show Steve and James this. It's kind of like it's a groundbreaking thing that I thought I should share with you guys. So there you go. It's a new fashion item.
Hang on, bloody hell. Oh, I'm just having to sit up here. Oh my god, what is that? Camel, what? It gives you a massive camel toe. Why would you want that?
It's basically...
Look, that is the worst photoshopping I've ever seen. The tummy is aiming towards you. Look at the belly button. That belly button's aiming towards you. The camel toe's aiming over to bloody left-hand side.
Right, I haven't photoshopped this, right?
Somebody really
has.
bad has photoshopped
right.
it.
There is a Japanese craze, right, that has made its way
Bullshit.
over to America.
Bollocks.
Right, which is underwear that gives you a massive camel toe.
And why would you want that?
I have no idea.
Nah, bullshit. It ain't real. You're just fucking shit up there.
I'm not. Right. Okay, to prove it, I'm going to have to Google it now. Can't believe I'm Googling camel toe underwear.
I'm zooming in on this really poor...
Oh my god, I've just found there is actually... Right, I've just googled camel toe underwear, and you can get it for men as well.
Look how bad that Photoshop work is. I've just zoomed in on the far left where the hand is. Where the hand's coming down. Look how bad that Photoshop work is.
I'm not saying them pictures are good, but it's real. It's real.
No, hang on.
I've sent these guys the link to it.
Why? But why? Who's wearing it? I've never seen anybody go, oh, I want a massive camel toe.
Oh dear. I had to share it with you. I really did.
So, how did you stumble across this?
It just appeared on my Facebook feed. I have no idea.
You're into some weird kinky sex stuff.
I'm not. It's just I have to research some really weird shit for this podcast, you know. So if it's taken any of my Google searches into account, maybe it's something to do with all them books we were searching the other week.
Yeah, yeah.
But they are real. Okay, the picture is not a good one, I will give you that, but they are real. If you do want one, Google it.
On talking about pictures, has Steve sent you his top 3 women?
He has, yes.
And has he also sent the top 3 that were good back in the day, but are now a bit haggard?
They're the only ones I have sent. The ones that were good in the day, but not now. I haven't sent the others.
I've only done 3 in total.
Right.
Yeah. I've done 3 which were like before and afters of the ones that were reasonably looking, and then something's gone a bit wrong there.
Right.
You wanted to get onto that then?
Yeah. Might as well.
Well, I'm curious though, James, as to what gave you this idea of us guys trying to remember famous women from pre-2007 as to whether they have aged well or not.
Because I think what it is back in the day when I was a young lad, like when you saw a nice woman on TV, you were like, oh, she looks nice. Whereas today, all celebrities, they've all got Twitter accounts with their boobs out and notes like special anymore, because you see everything, don't you?
Mm.
I mean, bloody that Miley Cyrus, that is awful. I mean, I've seen some right pictures with her, and I just think, God, you know what I mean? There's no ambiguity at all. It's just in your face.
I wouldn't mind it in my face though. I'd rather it in my face than on my computer. See, it's different. I'm single. You're not, so.
But I think for me, even if I was, what I'm meaning is, I think the only ones that are still a bit like, ooh, they're all right, is like ones like Rachel Riley that you'd never get to see. No. Whereas
I think that's what the thing about Rachel Riley is. She keeps that personal side personal.
Yeah. Whereas, like, no offense, but all celebrities that are in like Hollywood, all they're about is getting the boobs out because they're so desperate for work.
Mm. But then is that Weinstein's fault, or the likes of him, or is it the actors and actresses' fault?
Well,
it's an interesting one. Well, we'll get on to Steve's first one. I must admit, I don't know what it was. When you send me these pictures, this first one, I looked at it and I was like,
Who's that?
She looks familiar, but I don't know who it is. And I was thinking, is it an actress? It's not Megan Fox. I was like, who the fuck is it? It wasn't until I was actually sorting the pictures out for the podcast, I was like, fucking hell, I know who that is.
So you eventually worked it out then?
Yeah.
Figured out who it was?
It's Jordan.
Yeah.
Or Katie Price, as she's
Price.
really known.
Do you want me to send the first one to James?
Yeah. I must admit, I think the best thing about Katie Price is when her lad was on the TV and she asked him, what do you do when bullies are mean to you when you're online gaming? Tell them to fuck off, you cunt. I mean, okay, it's wrong, but it was funny.
Alright, so I've sent James the old picture of Katie Price.
so that's an old picture.
Yep.
That's when she was younger, yeah. Before
Right.
she had any work done. And she was alright, she was quite tasty back then. But she's changed a bit now, hasn't she?
Just a little bit.
So I'll send the second one to James, the current Katie Price.
More like Fisher Price.
Yeah.
Oh God. What's going on with her skin tone on her face? It's like yellow, and her arms are like red.
It's plastic, isn't it?
Change shade in the sun, maybe?
She's had a lot of work done on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I can understand people having work done, like someone's got had breast cancer, had a breast removed, and having a breast implant. I can kind of understand that. I can understand plastic surgery for people that have been disfigured. I can kind of understand that people may want to change their appearance with a bit of plastic surgery. But then you do have cases where it's just like, what are you doing? And I think this is one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's Steve's first one then.
Okay, moving on to the second one. So the second one, Dave, did you know who this one was straight away?
No, I've even now I've no idea who she is. I'm guessing she's someone famous because of the next picture, but I ain't got a clue who she is.
Let's
So James knows.
Let's have a look. Let's have a gander. Is it Hilary Duff or something like that?
No.
She's a singer, pop idol or something. American.
American pop idol, yep. She won the first pop idol in America.
Oh, what's her name now?
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson, yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah. Well, she's changed quite a bit. So I'll send you this next one, James. What she's like now.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, the cheat girl's loud.
The thing is, I don't have a problem with this. She's a woman that obviously likes food. No problem with that.
She's had kids now as well, and yeah.
I mean, at least she hasn't had any plastic surgery to make her face thin. Or
oh yeah, I know what you mean. Just a bit. It's just a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next one.
On to the next one.
This
is a bit before James's time, really.
Well, this was an interesting one because when I saw this first picture, I was like, yeah, she used to be quite a bit of a MILF. And then I saw the other picture.
I've not sent
I can't even think of her name. Was she in like Smoking the Bandit or something like that? Oh no, I'm thinking of that other one, the one who's the wife in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, she was in a few Clint Eastwood films, wasn't she? The one with the monkey, the ape.
Planet of the Apes?
No. What was it? Right Turn Clyde.
Yeah, that's it.
James has no idea what we're on about, clearly.
No clue.
You have to watch that film, it's great. They've got a stretch limo with basically orangutan driving it. With
well, that's what she looks like.
No. The orangutan is Clint Eastwood's best mate.
Yeah. So that's Goldie Hawn, and she used to be a bit of a model back in the 70s and 80s. But she's not a model anymore, is she, Dave?
No.
So I'll send you this one, James.
She almost. Oh my fucking God. Jesus Christ. What's she doing with the lips? What's she doing? Oh my God. Jesus. That's just not even just aged badly. That's like some serious bad shit going on.
Yeah. I don't feel hungry anymore, guys.
I feel sick. Oh God, that is horrendous. What a shame. What a shame.
To be fair though, she is probably about 90 years old now.
Well, yeah, but think of the money she's wasted on her face.
Yeah. She could have grown up old gracefully. That's just a fucking mess.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay. By the way, we do need to give James a bit of an award. By the way, didn't mention Star Wars once last podcast. No, you fell asleep before you could. But I'm going to make a Star Wars reference now.
Licking it, Jesus.
Princess Leia, God bless her soul.
Oh yeah.
She grew old gracefully, and there's plenty of actresses that haven't.
I think
she did have some work done.
Yeah, she did. Unfortunately, she. I think before I think it was about 2011, 12. She did she did a book called Wishful Drinking. It basically like talking about her life, and I remember watching that not a stand up, but it was kind of like a live show where she was talking.
Yeah.
And she were at least double the size she was in current Star Wars movies. So she did well to lose as much weight as she did. To be fair.
I also did have an idea as well, by the way, because James has been very, very good at breaking new records of the point he mentioned Star Wars. That I was wondering whether we reward him, Steve. Now, I'm not mentioning this to him at all. Whether we reward James with a specific segment of the show where James can talk anything Star Wars he wants. We could give him a time limit, and we go, right, James, we're gonna take our headsets off. You can do Star Wars.
Talk to myself. Talk to Wall.
But
Talk to Bella.
It was just an idea that we can bash around, because you have been doing very, very well. I mean, last time out it was a new record. It was over 3 hours without mentioning Star Wars.
Mind you, 1 hour of that I was asleep.
Have you listened to the end of the last podcast yet?
I did, yeah.
We were just sat here talking, and we're like, has he been disconnected? And then after about 15 minutes, we're like, I think I can hear a noise.
We could hear Bella shaking herself about. We heard Vicky walk in and out.
Vicky came in and got Bella and went. I don't know. Okay, on to my pictures now. I'll let you guys decide whether they've aged well or not. So my first one, it takes me back quite a bit. I'm going to send it to you, see if you know who she is.
Yeah. Is it Ally McBeal?
That is Ally McBeal. Callista Flockhart when she was Ally McBeal.
Yeah, so she's Harrison Ford's wife.
Yep.
I think that's his fourth wife.
What did you say, Steve?
Why would you cheat on that?
Oh, well.
No, that's his last wife.
Yeah, latest.
Latest. That's what I mean.
Okay.
He had. I think that's his fourth wife. He's had. It's the thing is with Harrison Ford is you always just imagine him just being like not giving a shit about anything. Just being like, oh well.
Maybe. Now, I used to watch Ally McBeal when I was younger, mainly because of her, but I did enjoy the show as well, and this is how she has aged. She's actually been in Supergirl, the Supergirl series that's been on, I think it's on about season 3 or 4 now, and she was in that from season 1, and to be fair, you can tell she's aged, but I personally think she's aged well.
I don't think it's too bad. I mean, I think she's about nearly 50, and Harrison Ford's in his 80s.
I think she's
doing all right for himself there.
I think when she was in Ally McBeal, she was in her mid-30s.
Right.
And that was might have been a late 90s. Yeah, it was late 90s TV show. So I think she must be in her 60s, 70s now.
Yeah, but she's grown old a bit gracefully, whereas that other one's just a fucking pancake.
So yeah,
I would say that she's aged gracefully.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's had a bit of work done, but if she has, it's not like fucking hell, what have you done? But having seen her picture, I was like, I might have to restart watching Ally McBeal again. Okay, on to
to let you know, she was born in 1964. She's 53.
53. Oh, so James was.
And also, close. Goldie Hawn is 75.
Jesus. Okay, on to my next one. Now, this, at first glance, may seem a bit wrong. If you don't know who it is, don't make judgment yet. Let's see if these guys know. What TV show is that from?
The Wonder Years.
Correct.
And do you know how I know this and how I remember?
Who's she?
I've seen her recently on Practical Jokers.
Ah, right. Well, I think the most recent thing I saw her on would have been a few years ago. She made an appearance on The West Wing, and it was the first thing I'd seen her on for a long time, and I was like, oh my god, she's grown up a bit. Well, actually, I was like, oh my god, who is she? Googled her, and I was like, no way. So, James, you have no idea who she is or the TV program?
No. I think her face is kind of recognisable, but I don't know.
Well, The Wonder Years was a TV program, what, late 80s, early 90s, Steve? But it was...
Yeah, I'd say like that.
I think it was probably based from like the 60s, 70s in America.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, the guy who produced it was middle-aged, and it was about his life when he was young. It's a little bit like the Goldbergs now, but it was like that decade's version of it. And this is what she looks like now. Admittedly, this is not the best or sexiest picture I could have got of her, but I'll let you decide if she's aged well or not.
Oh, yes.
And her name is Danica McCullough.
That's it.
And I'm just going to send that to Steve and James, because James is going to want to Google her. He's already typing her name in. But yeah, she's been in The West Wing, she's been in a few things, and I think she's definitely aged well.
Yeah, I think you can.
Sorry, go on.
You can see where she's had liposuction.
I don't
She's
care.
a keeper, that's what I would say.
Yeah, not bad.
And do you want to know her age?
Go on.
I pressed the wrong button.
I reckon she's got to be 40, over 40-ish.
She was born in 1975. She's 43.
Fucking hell.
So she's 3 years older than me.
She's doing well for that age. Okay,
Yeah.
on to my last one. Now, I only picked this one because I watched a film a couple of nights ago with her in it. And she became famous in the 2000s.
Oh, yes. I don't know what that film that's from. Because my kids have watched it about 1 million times.
James is still Googling Danica McCullough.
No, hang on.
Because that's the Princess Diaries film. That's the name of the film.
Hang on. Oh,
I'm
get a bit
angry.
sad.
It's got Mary Poppins in that film as well.
Hang on.
Hey up me duck.
What you done?
Oh yeah.
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 And this is what she looks like now.
Yeah, it's Catwoman, isn't it?
Yeah, Catwoman. I watched Batman: The Dark Knight Rises a couple of nights ago. I must admit, I can't say I've ever really watched the Princess Diaries or whatever it is, but Anne Hathaway, her and Liv Tyler, I don't know. There's just something about them.
Them big bangers.
You're cooking sausages, James.
She does have a great pair of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anne Hathaway. Okay, right, James, on to yours. I might need a moment to just get James's on to the screen. So give me a second.
One.
Give me a few more.
2, 3.
Oh yeah, James's first one. You know what? I so nearly picked her. But I thought, no, I'm going to go for someone people wouldn't expect. But I can't deny James's selection initially. So here's James's pick. I'm pretty sure as well, the picture on the left is from FHM.
I don't have the picture.
Wait.
I'll send it you. Sorry, I was too busy staring at it on my computer screen. Okay. So James's first picture then.
Hang on. So yeah. So is this the 2004 to 2018?
No, 2002 to 2018. I've sent it in the chat.
Oh, yeah. So
Is that Holly Valance?
It is.
it is. Yeah. But it's such a shame them last 4 years. Can you believe it? Because that's an absolute stunner there. But I think with a bit of work she'll probably get back. But yeah,
I'd be still happy with that.
Back in day, that were like my favourite as a kid growing up.
Look at it this way though, James. I'm trying to look at it as okay. 2002, filth. 2014, classy filth. 2018, she likes a film. She doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks. But what I'm actually thinking is, I'm a lot fatter than I was in 2014. What she's done there is she's kept herself in my league.
You win.
You gotta have positive thinking, guys. Gotta have positive thinking.
Well, you've got Kelly Clarkson in your league as well, haven't you?
Yeah, no. She probably needs to put a bit more on. But Holly Valance. I'm trying to think what was the name of that song that she did.
Kiss Kiss.
Kiss Kiss. Yeah.
But yeah, I do like 2014. That were a good year.
Yeah. Thing is, I used to watch Neighbours when she first broke onto the scene there.
Oh yeah, she played Flick, didn't she?
Yeah.
What
a name to have, isn't it? I mean, there was some guy working on that programme. Oh, what should we call her? Well, what will guys do when they see her? Yeah, there you go.
The next one, which I think is it 2016 to 2008?
Give me a second. I'm going to need to get it up.
2008 was a good year.
This, I must admit, this
is a shame.
This is a shocker.
This is a shocker.
Okay.
Such a shame. What a shame. Back in there. Oh.
Is it Christina Aguilera?
It is.
That's the one.
Oh, what a shame.
I'll tell you what, right, if they did a Muppet show now, she could play Miss Piggy.
She could.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
But 2008, that were amazing.
The thing is, though, I mean, okay, we're talking about how people look here and how they've aged. I mean, it'd be very easy to go, fucking hell, just put loads of weight on. She's obviously doing whatever she wants to do, and fair play to her. I can't comment. I've put so much weight on recently.
Oh, same here.
But
I think what it is you can see the potential of if they took good care of themselves, how good they could still be. But there's some of them that are an absolute shame.
The thing is, okay, has she aged well? Well, she doesn't look like Goldie Hawn did.
Well,
she's got a few more years to go.
Yeah, but I think it's just a shame because you know that like if she took care of herself, she'd probably look as stunning as she did back then.
But at the same time, if back then she felt forced into looking that way, maybe she feels more herself now. And what's more important, who they are or what they look like?
Yeah.
I'm giving you guys the opportunity to redeem yourselves with.
This next one is. As a kid, I was like, "Oh my god!" And now, and I think this is just the way that celebrities are now. They're just the opposite of Christina Aguilera. They just don't eat.
Yeah.
They do not eat, and they make themselves look ill. And what a shame! Because back in 1996, that were amazing.
Yeah. She definitely was one of my fantasies when I was a little younger.
But I mean, look what just not eating's done to her. I know, obviously she's aged. I mean, we're talking 22 years, but that's 22 years, and she looks like a completely different person.
Yeah.
I'll find out her age for you.
I don't know what to say on that. I mean, she's still funny though. I mean, I saw her on Graham Norton, She was talking about shaving a bush. If you've not seen it, you'll have to watch it. But yeah.
So then, should we have a look at the ones that have the years have been kind?
Mine were the ones that were kind. I haven't got any other pictures, and Steve's not sent me any others, and you haven't.
Wait, I have.
No, you
I
haven't.
said, yeah, there's three above that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Cameron Diaz is 45.
No, that's not a good look. So if she was 45, how old was she in 1996?
I don't know. I'm not working that out.
She'd have been 22. Oof. 22.
Uh,
Can you not see them? I'll resend them if you want.
Where did you send? Oh, I see them. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You sent them to me in the wrong chat. Okay.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, there's three that are good there. One of them, you're like, has she got younger? Actually, the majority of them, you look at me and think, have they got younger?
Okay, give me a few moments. Okay, I'm seeing that one. I am pretty certain the Flick one from 2004 definitely was from FHM. And also, I mean, okay, you've picked one here that, again, I was very close to picking. Like, Cameron Diaz, I nearly picked. Flick, I nearly picked. And this other one, I nearly picked. Okay, so let's see, James. What have you got here then?
So which one are you going for first? What year?
2004 to 2018.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember, you might have been a bit old for it, but back in the day, it used to be on Channel 4 all the time, called the OC.
I do remember it. I never really watched it, but I do remember it.
Nah, I never really watched it, to be fair, apart from, checking stuff out. But, yeah, she ended up marrying Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin Skywalker.
All right.
Yeah, so there's my Star Wars segue. But yeah, the years have been definitely good, I think. I mean, that's 2004. That's another 14 years on top, and she still looks. Well, she looks probably better than she did even then.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. So what's the name then? Mrs. Christensen?
Rachel Bilson, I think it was. Steve's probably like, who?
I haven't got the picture yet. So yeah, I'm like,
what?
Oh,
What?
is it?
I'll
I'll send it. I can't say I remember seeing her in anything else.
yeah, she looks alright.
Okay.
So what's the second one you're going to show me?
Rachel Stevens. I got seeing that brings back memories.
But
They're
she
not
just
memories I
hasn't
can
aged,
share either.
She has got younger. There's no way on earth. 1999 to 2016, so that's a 17-year gap. She looks younger now than she did then.
On those pictures. Is she a Master Chef? Is she a Master Chef Select? I'm going to have to watch that.
Yeah,
then.
that's when she did Master Chef, I think it was 2016. That's bonkers, isn't it? That is really bonkers. I mean...
She looks like she's not aged a day.
She hasn't aged. She could play Terminator. She'd be perfect.
She could play anything she wants. Yeah, I must admit, she is lovely. She is lovely.
And then the final one.
I think I might be saving these pictures.
This is final one, Steve. You might recognise this one.
I did so nearly pick her. She's brilliant on Carpool Karaoke as well. Gwen Stefani.
Full 18 years different, and she looks younger.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
She's a bit too wild for me, though. I like them quiet.
You just mentioned then about somebody who were in a show and you didn't really think of them, and then you were like, oh my god, they've grown up. I was watching Sopranos the other day, and I'll send you in group chat. This is a picture of the Sopranos family, and if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's so good. It's basically all about Tony Soprano, and he's like head of the mafia, but yet normal family life like gets in the way, and he's dealing with like depression and stuff. But it's like the way that you'd normally like look at like gangster things like that, you think, oh, they're a bit gritty and moody and all this lot. But I think it's like a dark comedy, just of how like stupid stuff, like his mother like being like old and cliquey, and he comes round to see her to like cheer himself up, and all she does is make him feel like shit. And anyway, there's his daughter in that there.
She looks like
Meadow.
before you tell us, she looks like a young version of Dominic Toretto's bit on the side from the Fast and Furious films, the one he met in Brazil.
Well, Gal Gadot.
No, not her. She weren't his bit on the side. That was Hans' missus in the end. No, I'm on about the one that was a cop.
But anyway, this is how she looks now, and bloody hell.
What's her name?
I'll get it for you. She's grown up a bit.
Oh, just a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. She don't look like the other woman now, but yes, she's grown up a bit.
Neil, you alright there, Dave?
I am. I think I need a drink, but I'll be alright.
Yeah. Her name is Jamie Lynn Singer. But yeah, absolutely. If you've not watched Sopranos, you need to watch it. It's like my second favourite thing next to Star Wars.
Well, do you want to know someone else who, when they sort of made their breakthrough, wasn't much, to be honest, maybe a bit young. Well, actually, no, at the time, a little younger than I was.
When you made your breakthrough.
Yeah. If I give you this person's name, I'm not going to send you send you a picture. See if you recognise the name.
No. But now you've said the name, I can Google.
Oh, you know what? No, I don't recognise that name. That's just reminded me of one that has really aged badly. And you'll know this one, Dave. Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Oh, she used to be amazing back in there.
Okay, I'm gonna. The name I sent to Stephen James was Ariana Richards. I've just sent them a picture of her.
Yeah. Hang on. Was she in Jurassic Park?
Yeah. She was the oldest of the kids in the first Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
She has aged very, very well. I don't think she's involved really in movies anymore.
No.
She sort of took a sidestep and wasn't interested. I think it was in, when you were talking about watching the making of, I watched the making of the Jurassic Park where the T-Rex got wet, and they talked to her a little bit, and she talked about how she's not really involved in acting or anything like that. And at that point I was like, okay, she's grown up.
Yeah.
We're on a
Indeed.
risky precipice at the moment, though.
We are, yeah.
So yeah. So I'm gonna sort of change topic a little.
Change gear.
Change gear. It's interesting you use the terminology change gear. You know how companies are trying to, obviously car companies are looking at hybrids and stuff like that, and I think the likes of Volvo have been looking at driverless cars. Well, news broke yesterday that a self-driving Uber has killed a woman on a street in Arizona. So a self-driving Uber has ran over a woman and killed her.
That's just
it is one of those. It's like, oh my god, somebody has died, but at the same time, it's like everybody knew something like that would happen at some point.
Exactly.
She's the first person to be fatally injured in a self-driving car.
Yeah. So was she in the car?
No,
or was she hit by the car?
Sorry, by a self-driving car. She wasn't in the car. She was a pedestrian.
I thought self-driving cars weren't legal yet.
Well, in America, it probably depends on the state. I can tell you, an autonomous Uber car killed a woman in the street in Arizona in what appears to be the first reported fatal crash involving a self-driving vehicle and a pedestrian in the US. The police say the self-driving car was in autonomous mode at the time of the crash, and that the vehicle hit a woman who was walking outside of the crosswalk. So it would appear that she wasn't actually walking on the crosswalk. So, like
zebra crossing.
Like a zebra crossing, yeah. So if the car is taught to detect what we would call a zebra crossing, in America they call it a crosswalk, traffic lights. The car detects the traffic light would stop. In this situation, it hasn't detected that, so it's kept going. But either way, somebody has died. Now, they also did say that there was a vehicle operator inside the car at the time of the crash. Could you imagine being that person sat there inside the car as the vehicle's operator, but it's in automatic mode, and you sat there thinking, it'll stop in a minute. It'll stop before it hits them. Oh fuck.
You think your natural reaction though would be to hit the brake yourself? I mean, how many times as a passenger, when you've got somebody that's driving a bit loony, your legs start twitching as if you're hitting the brake pedals?
Yeah. I know I've done that loads of times as the passenger. You're like, hit the brake, hit the brake, hit the brake, you dickhead.
You're about when I'm driving, aren't you?
Not necessarily, no. But yeah, either way, it's it's not good for Uber. It's not good for the self-driving cars. And to be honest, right, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know who the car manufacturer was. I can't see. Oh no, hang on. So, okay, this says Uber has been testing its self-driving cars in numerous states and temporarily suspended its vehicles in Arizona last year after a crash involving one of its vehicles, a Volvo SUV. It doesn't say which vehicle this was on the report that I'm reading at the moment. But if the car manufacturer or Uber turn round and try and just say, well, the person was outside of the crosswalk, it's not our fault, they were crossing the road at the wrong point. I'm sorry, to me that ain't fucking right.
No, because if you were driving the car manually, you'd still hit the brake. If
a kid runs across the road, what's the car going to do? It's going to run them over. You can't have that situation.
Yeah.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Okay, on to one other sad little bit of news, guys. Stephen Hawking this week passed away. Who? Stephen Hawking, the most famous person in a wheelchair ever.
Never heard of him.
Oh my god!
I hope you're taking.
I'm minding you.
Fuck it. I was gonna say you can't have not heard of Stephen Hawking.
I've just literally got sick of my mate Paul. I mentioned.
Doing that.
No, he's just been coming up with like these really bad jokes all week, like saying a wheelchair for sale and stuff Oh, poor man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I'm sure he was the kind of person that would rather people find humour in his passing than be sad and depressed. I mean, he would go on.
I want to know whether his coffin is going to be in the shape of a seat, or are they going to lie him down? Because normally he's permanently sat in a seat. So. Is he going to have a coffin that shape, or are they going to try and lie him down?
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in space.
What, his wheelchair?
Well, not necessarily his wheelchair, but
His ashes.
His ashes, yeah. I mean, come on. The guy spent his life on a planet that he couldn't, most of his life on a planet that he couldn't walk around. Spending most of his career working on theories about space and science and what's out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if his ashes ended up out in space somewhere.
But what if he didn't want cremating? Would you just send his body out into space?
Maybe.
End of the day, we already are in space, so.
Oh, getting deep now, James. Getting
We
deep
are.
there.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, what I will say is, I mean, the guy was told he won't live 2 years.
Yeah. I remember before that movie came out. I remember there were, I think it were like a dramatised thing on BBC when I was a kid, and it was showing him like falling downstairs at home or something, or like running and falling, and in the movie it shows it, but like him just continuously doing it and then just like not realising what it is. And then literally like the week after I'd watched that, I remember at school I tripped over and I thought, oh shit, I'm going to end up like Stephen Hawking.
Oh dear.
I thought that when I fell down the stairs today.
Oh, bloody hell.
What we'd probably find, James, is that Steve's actually still lying at the bottom of the stairs and Claire's just put an headset on him.
Do you want to know how long I was at the bottom of the stairs for?
Go on then.
Right, we've got I've got a camera in our living room. I was here on my own with the dog. There was no one else here. We've got a camera in our living room, and I was able to watch it from when I went out of the room to when I came back in. And I know that when I went out, all I did was open the back door, let the dog out, go upstairs, go to the loo, and then obviously come back down the stairs, and that's when I fell over. So from the time I went out the door to the time I came back in was an hour and 15 minutes.
Fucking hell.
So I must have knocked myself out and been at the bottom of the stairs for about over an hour. I remember coming round thinking, where the bloody hell am I? And then trying to crawl on my hands and knees back into the living room. And it literally, I got back into the living room and I rang, my phone was in the living room, and I rang Claire and she didn't answer the call. She declined the call. I was like, oh great, that's when I need someone. But then she pulled up on the drive literally a minute later. That's why she didn't answer, because she was driving. And I was just still sat on the floor when she came in. I was like, I just fell down the stairs.
An hour ago.
An hour, yeah. But I was at the bottom of the stairs for, probably just over an hour. It's not good.
Well, if you still get headaches or if you're sick,
my head's still spinning now. I feel like my head's in the clouds, and my eyesight is like not blurry, but difficult to focus. If you know what I mean.
Well, if you start feeling unwell, to ring the medical centre, as the Americans
So you're going to
say.
have a few beers.
No, that would probably not be a good idea.
Have a burger.
Yeah.
Have a double burger.
You know the burger we showed earlier, right? It was absolutely fucking lovely, proper. Like you didn't need we didn't have any sides. There was no chips or anything like that. You didn't need it. It was proper filling. I didn't shit for 2 days.
It clogged you up.
It did. I didn't shit for 2 days, but for 2 days I felt like I needed a shit. It was one of those just like, oh yeah, okay, it's on its way. No, it's not. It's just it's gonna wait. It's gonna wait. But yeah, might not be good for the health, but it was good for the soul.
Yeah.
Just thinking, James, you told us or asked us last night to remind you something about a story about Bella.
Oh yeah, Jesus, right. My mum and dad are a bit like clean freaks, right? And I'm not a clean freak, right? But when the house starts getting messy, I turn into a bit of a knobhead and I'm like, oh, I need to clean this place. But whereas my mum and dad are literally like, no mess whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's just like,
a bit too OCD. But we never had a pet growing up at all. But now we've got Bella. I thought, well, they came round and they met Bella the other week, and they're like, "Oh, Bella's really nice, isn't she?" Yeah. I thought, "Oh, got on right well." What I'll do is, I'll make sure that I'll take Bella for a while, make sure she goes to the toilet and everything, and then I'll give her a bath, and she'll be all nice and clean, and then we'll pop over and see him just for like an hour later. So anyway, we did that. Give her a bath. All nice and clean, nice and dry. She looks like a little sheep, and I thought, brilliant. Sets off over to my mum and dad's, turns up, and it's all hunky dory. We'll go in, and like, at first I was thinking, they're not going to like a dog being in the house, because I've never had a dog in the house. But straight away they were like, "Oh, lovely, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah." And like they were like, "Oh, sit," and she was sat down, chilling out, and they were all nice, and we had fire going, and she was just sort of sat in front of the fire as we were talking. About 10 minutes later, here's this like crying, and I'm like, what the hell are you crying for? You've been treated like a queen today. You've had a Melton mulberry pie, and you've had a bath and a walk. You've been toilet. What's wrong with you? Really weird, like crying noise. I'm like, what the hell's up with you? And she starts just like walking around the room. I said, this is a bit odd. She's not.
She walking around in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what the hell's up with you? And then she comes over to me and she literally puts her face right up in my face as I'm talking to my mum. What the hell's up with you? And she starts going, and I'm like, Mum, I don't know what the hell's up with her. And then
you're about to find out.
I went, she'll be right. And then she went and lied down in front of the fire. And I thought, she was just probably wanting attention because I was talking to my mum. 2 minutes later, turns round, and she's right in front of the fire, literally like gipping. And I'm like, oh no. And she literally looks like she's going to like throw up. And my mum went, oh. And I just literally grabbed Bella and went, come on, you can't be sick in here. And ran outside and literally just got outside and she went, all over front garden. And I was like, oh God, I'm so glad we got outside, because that would have been an absolute train wreck in Mum and Dad's house. But yeah, I felt a bit sorry for her. And then Mum was going, you shouldn't be feeding her Melton mulberry pies. You'll kill her. You'll kill her. But yeah, you've been right since, haven't you? Eh? But yeah. Well, so that word disaster averted.
It was a disaster, but at least now you know. Next time Bella does something like that and she starts walking around in circles, you know, right? She's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Or she's going to shit everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, at least she hasn't ran up some stairs and knocked me over yet. Mind you, I live in a bungalow. It's going to be hard to do that.
The thing is, I still don't know how Gizmo's done that to Steve, because Gizmo's fucking tiny.
Well, when I go to the loo, he likes to sit on the stairs, and you have to like stand on the step before him and say, "Come on, go down," and he'll go down 2 or 3 steps and stop again, and then you have to say, "Go on, go down," and instead of him going down, he decided to come up as I was trying to step over him. So I don't know why he normally he'd get down all right, but yeah, he didn't.
Oh dear.
But it was a case of me putting my foot through him, or I'd step over him and fall. So I decided to fall. Do you know when you put your foot down on something, you know there's something under your foot, so you lift it up really quick?
Yeah. Because
you don't know what you're standing on. Yeah, only I knew what I was standing on.
I tripped over my bin in my living room the other day. I thought I was going to break I thought I'd broke my ankle. Fucking agony. I mean, I fell all of half a metre into my chair, but it was just I was like walking backwards, and I went to put my foot down, and I caught like the side of the bin, and it kind of twisted my ankle as I was trying to. It wasn't really. I didn't knock myself out, but no, I know what you mean when you go to stand on something and then you realise it's not there. It's not pleasant.
Guys, I don't mean to be a bit of a buzzkill, but my throat is in an absolute agony now. So I don't think I'm going to be able to last much longer.
That's alright, that's fine. There was only one other thing that I was going to talk about, we don't have to, and that's to do with Jamie Carragher. But I was going to mention about... there's a brilliant video going around about Jamie Carragher actually, and it's a part of the Jurassic Park movie, you know, where the fat guy's trying to make his escape in the rain, and he meets the little dinosaur that's got
spits in his face.
Yeah. Well, it's that scene, and then just before the spitting scene, Carragher appears and spits on him. It's quite funny. No, what I was going to say was, okay, James, you mentioned over the last few weeks that you've not been feeling too well on Mondays and Tuesdays, and I've got a bit of a theory about what it might be, right? Because I have experienced a very similar thing before, and I think you start feeling a little bit unwell on a Monday morning, midday-ish. It gets progressive.
It was Sunday
night.
I woke up and I had a bit of a sore throat. I was like, oh no, and then it went, and then Sunday night it came back, and I went, fuck.
Right.
And then
I think what it is, because it's affected you a few weeks now. For example, falling asleep on the last podcast. I think it's partially down to you're burning yourself out, right? You know, you run your Project Carnegie you know, you run your racing league on a Monday night, and you do a lot of editing work for that.
Yeah.
It is possible that what's happening is on a Sunday/Monday, even though you may have got the previous one done, your body is already thinking, in the next few days I've got to do this, and I've got to do that, and I've got to do this, and I've got the podcast, and I've got this, and I've got that, and I've got that. Your body's already kind of preparing for the stress and the pressure of it, and it's not getting that opportunity to go, you know what, I need to relax a bit. And one of the reasons I mention that is because I've been through that very similar situation myself, where I was finding that I was getting ill on the same sort of days each week, and I've noticed that since I've cut back the amount of stuff that I've done, I don't really have that stress-induced illness as much anymore. Excuse me. Now, I'm not saying that you should stop doing your racing league or you should stop doing the podcast, but what you might want to think about doing at some point with your racing league is perhaps for 1 week going, you know what, I could do all the editing stuff, like doing the intros, the logos, the qualifier, or in 1 week you go, you know what, I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. So literally, I've got my intro, my race done, job done, takes minimal amount of time, and just see if you feel better.
Yeah, I will do. But I think I'm at the moment. You might notice from just watching it, I'm probably overcomplicating things.
It's good though to find out what you can do and find out how much time it takes, and then step it back a bit. And what some people, I mean, I know I've had it, some people might go, oh, you should do that, it looks really good, and that's where you go, you know what, it does look really good, but it takes me 3 fucking days to do it. So
that makes me ill.
Yeah. So why should I? I mean, one of the people used to ask, like, why. One of the reasons why I stepped down as an admin of racing leagues, one of them was because the stress was making me ill. That's one thing I didn't really tell me, but the stress was making me ill. And you do have to at some points go, you know what, I'm willing to do some stuff, and yes, I want stuff to look as best as possible, but I have to do it in a way that doesn't make me think, oh fuck, it's Monday. Yeah, I've got a race to do, but I like when you get to your race on a Monday, you should be thinking, right, okay, I've got a race. Not, okay, I've got a race, and when I've finished, I've got to do this, and then I've got to do that, and then I've got to do this, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it normally rolls around to Monday, and I've had no time to prepare, because I've literally just finished the editing on the weekend, and when I've finished the editing, I think on Sunday,
I finished the editing, I uploaded it to YouTube, and I think my body just went, "You're fucked."
Yeah.
I just literally went to sleep at about 5 o'clock. Oh, I just that knackered. I was like,
Yeah, which is why I think like it's running you down. I mean, it might not be that. It could just be the illness that's going around.
I do think it is partly that. But yeah, like you say, I need to try and work out how to simplify stuff. I have removed the qualifying thing.
Yeah.
Where I had all the drivers and stuff. That were an absolute ball ache. Now I've just got a simple thing where it just goes from top to bottom and it scrolls.
Yeah.
Which is a lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to work out. I've had an idea about how to simplify something, but I'm going to try it this week, and I'll see if it makes editing time reduce a lot more. But yeah, it is good doing what I'm doing, and I do feel a lot of satisfaction. But like I say, it does take a lot out of you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's the weird thing about it. I mean, some people don't understand how much it can take it out. I mean, I said I mentioned it to you guys last night that I think it was on Sunday. I just had to take a break from computers, and the main thing was the headset. Wearing a headset for so many hours a day, and the effect it's having on my head and my ears. Because like I have problems with my ears, so when my ears get damp or they're moisty, this sounds so horrible, but when they're damp in the ear canal, if you're wearing a headset for a long period of time, your ears stay damp. So imagine like if you've just had a shower, you come out of the shower, you get dried off, and you put a headset on, the inside of your ears don't dry because there's no air getting there to dry them. And also there's obviously air pressure differences from wearing a headset where you got speakers into your ears all the time. I just had to take a fucking break. I mean, I've got to the point where when I go bald, my bald patch is going to be one strip across the top of my head from one ear to the other from where the strap of the fucking headset goes.
Oh well, at least you're not bald yet, unlike me.
But don't comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did want to do Hando, but my throat is just in agony, mate. Sorry.
That's all.
But yeah, I am looking forward to F1, and I hope it is a cracking season. I just want it to be at least like 3 teams fighting for the title rather than just a Ferrari in it this year. Oh no, they're fucking not.
I just want it to be entertaining. That's all. I mean, a bit of a fight for the wins, yeah, that'd be great. But I won't be surprised if one team does run away. It's the way it's gone over the years. But just some entertainment, and if the action is lower down the grid, show us that action.
Yeah, exactly. Don't show us Hamilton and Vettel split by 10 seconds when there's a cracking battle going on midfield that we're missing.
Exactly.
So, Sean Todd, if you're listening, listen to us. You know, maybe not the first half an hour when I was shitting all over your Ferrari, ex-Ferrari colleagues, but yeah.
Well, you know how earlier on they were saying, imagine if we weren't doing like for Formula 1, and you go to James and he's found out there's no loo roll in the toilets, and you go to Steve and he's seeing what the burgers are like at the burger bar, and I suppose at the point that we'd have to sign off, we'd have to go and over to James to say goodbye, and there'd be no noise whatsoever because he's fallen asleep, and go over to Steve to say goodbye, and there's no noise whatsoever, he's just twitching on the floor.
I'd be sleeping in a deck chair like a like there he is. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we'll bring this one to an end then. Obviously, for anyone that's joined us in the last half hour or so, we did start an hour earlier today. We are on a shorter podcast this evening because James is not feeling too well, Steve's not feeling too well. I do hope that both of you are feeling better soon. Obviously, one falling down the stairs and knocking himself out is not good, and the other one,
just fucking Yeah.
just fucking, yeah, that's what it is. Blame McDonald's for
Hey,
making you wait outside for ages.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. No.
Okay, so we've got our predictions in for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. If you do want to hear that, it is earlier in the podcast, but I will just quickly mention that James has predicted that Verstappen will win the race, Steve has predicted that Hamilton will win the race, and I have predicted that Ricciardo will win the race. So be interesting to see how those predictions come about. David Harp says, we said goodbye to James last night on turn 1. He got further than me though. Don't worry, Dave, we saw how you got on in practice about 2 hours ago. So if you didn't see that, you've been on the podcast. So enjoy finding that. Okay, just want to say thank you to the viewers for listening in. Feel free to like, subscribe, check out our other videos. I will also put the how a man makes a burger video on the YouTube channel. And I think someone's filling up a bowl of cereal at the moment.
No, sorry, I'm just filling up all my crackers bin.
Alright.
Our man...
how a man has a breakdown.
Corpse. Yeah, exactly. Right. Night, listeners.
Right. Have a good one, folks. Enjoy the race this weekend, and hopefully we'll see you at our regular time, 8 PM next Tuesday. Thanks for listening. See you again soon.
Blah 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 blah.